this is Steven with StevensGuitarLessons.com. Welcome to another edition of my Tip, Trick, or Lick of the Week series. Today we're going to talk about one of my philosophies around playing, and this is something that can apply to guitar playing or any instrument and to a lot of other things as well, a lot of other tasks and recreational activities and hobbies and other things beyond that as well. There's a lot of potential far-reaching concept or applications with this concept, but with playing specifically, musical endeavors and things of that nature, if you're always aware of whether you're in a performance mindset or a practice mindset, you can maximize each of those scenarios, and it's important to have a balance of both. But first, we have to know what it is that we're talking about. What are these two mindsets? And we have to define the circumstances when those mindsets would be applicable. So when we're performing, you can think of that as just anytime you're playing that you're not specifically working on a skill or actively trying to improve technique or learn a part or something of that nature. When you're performing, you've done all your practice, and now you're playing for someone else's enjoyment, or maybe for your own enjoyment, maybe for a recording or something like that. It might not have a direct audience at the time of the performance, but if you're not actively working on a skill, you're performing. So when you're practicing, when you're actively working on your skills, technique is very important, and it might have a lot more of importance in practice than it will in a performance. In a performance, you can't really have wrong fingerings unless it leads to a bad sound. If you play it and it sounds good, it didn't matter if you used what somebody would consider a correct fingering for something. That takes a back seat to the sound. Now, that having been said, when you're practicing, you want to be using those correct fingerings for exercises or for whatever application. You can change things around and choose to use different fingerings and practice different fingerings for things, but you always want to be conscious of that when you're doing it. Have a fingering that you're supposed to use and use it. And if you don't, it's a mistake. You messed up. Do it again. And that isn't something you do in a performance. But for example, we might have an exercise where we're playing across the strings and we're playing a pattern in a practice session like this, like index, ring, and then the next string, middle, pinky, index, ring, middle, pinky, and so forth. I could play that index, ring, index, ring, index, ring, index, ring, and I'm playing the same notes, but I'm not playing the physical pattern that the exercise is intending, and therefore I'm not getting the full benefit that I might get otherwise from that exercise. I might be able to play it in a way that sounds better, cleaner, more appealing from a stylistic standpoint, using incorrect fingerings. But if I'm doing an exercise, I'm trying to push those boundaries and exercise those fingers and fingerings and combinations that I'm maybe not so comfortable with, that don't sound as good naturally and normally. So when we understand what we're trying to accomplish with practice, that we're trying to focus on specific things, specific skills, we can make the most of that time. And of course, it is important to perform and have performances and enjoy what you're playing. But if we don't watch it, it's easy to let performance time dominate our playing time. And often you might have people that have been playing for a while that I play all the time, I practice all the time, and I don't feel like I'm getting any better. Well, they may not really be practicing when they're playing. They may be doing a little bit more performance in situations like that, and that have a lot to do with the lack of progress, because the balance has to be right. You have to be pushing those boundaries. But it is important to have performance in there as well. I like to end my my practice sessions with a performance, with something where I'm playing something that I enjoy playing, that's fun to play or that's enjoyable to listen to, and I'm not really thinking about, you know, how well am I doing and how well am I meeting any goal. I'm trying to enjoy myself. I'm trying to play things that are pleasing to listen to, or that are fun to physically play, or that are enjoyable, or whatever. It might be something that I can do really well, and I've been banging my head against a wall in a practice session, and I feel like, okay, let's do something I can do here. There we go. And that's important to do. It's a good thing to give yourself that kind of a boost when you need it. You know, you always want to be pushing your boundaries, but you always want to make sure that you're aware of your successes, and that you don't get overwhelmed with the fact that every time you push the boundaries, you've just got more boundaries out there to push, and that can feel overwhelming. But that just means that's more boundaries for you to, you know, more obstacles for you to overcome. You know, it's all perspective. But anyway, that's the idea. Being aware of those two mindsets, and which mode you are in and which you should be in, and learning to gauge the improvements that you're making, and the enjoyment level that you're having, so that you're achieving the goals that you want to have. The balance is very important between those two things. So if you're aware of it and you're thinking about it, you'll be able to make the necessary adjustments and changes. If not, you probably won't pick up on a lot of it. So be conscious, be aware of it, be actively making sure that you're doing what you want to do to get what you want out of your practices. So that's it for today, and if you enjoyed this, there's other videos that are equally as informative, I believe, and let me know what you think. If you've got any feedback or anything like that, or any ideas for future videos or requests or anything like that. But hope to see everybody else next week, and I'll look forward to the next tip, trick, or lick of the week series video. Thanks. Bye. Hey, it's Steven. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found it helpful, if it was something that was beneficial for you, I hope you'll go and check out my website, stevensguitarlessons.com, and that's StephenGuitarlessons.com. You can find out all about my guitar lessons program there, and a lot about me as well. And if you found that it was too simple or too basic, it was covering topics that were too simple or too advanced, definitely check out some of my other videos. I do cover a range of skill levels and topics and concepts, and hopefully there's something there to your liking. If so, or if not, whatever, you can feel free to send me a message. You can contact me through the website, and I hope to hear from you, and I hope to see you again for my tip, trick, or lick of the week. Thanks a lot, and again, this is Steven from StevensGuitarLessons.com.